Welcome back to Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. I had the pleasure of watching Captain Richard in his stream on Twitch the other evening, and we're only going to watch this for a couple of seconds. And he actually wound up changing my opinion, my mind, my views on the exploits that right now are in racing. And we're going to talk about them in today's State of the Game. So just take a look at what Captain Richard's doing, and then I'm going to throw in my own video where I crash often, trying to figure out how to do what he's doing. Of course, he crashes also. So before I do that, my initial issue is very simple. The course is laid out like a race course, so shouldn't you follow it? Or is the course actually just flying through the gates? If it is, then what Captain Richard is doing here is totally acceptable. If it's not, then this is an exploit that we're just testing and finding so it could be corrected later. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, and then we'll talk about weapons and all sorts of other fun things. So now that we're back in the hangar and listening to the loving voice of Eric Wingman Peterson talking over the PA system, let's talk about my concern and how it's been quelled somewhat. I've been flying a lot of races, and right off the bat, people are just blowing me away. I'm doing my best to stay on the course, but they're finishing 15 and 20 seconds faster than me, and I just don't know what's going on half of the time. Well, then I stumbled upon Captain Richard's stream. I kind of knew people were taking shortcuts, but I had no idea to what extent, and it really started to irritate me, and it made me kind of not want to play the game anymore, because if they were going to cheat, I didn't want to cheat too. And then I watched Captain Richard, and he said something that was kind of, it changed my mind. It changed my whole attitude. And I'm bringing this forth to you today to see how you feel about this. The answer to my question, which I asked in chat, was, well, we are testing the game, and if they are exploits, they will fix them. If there's problems with it, they'll make it work better. And if the intention is to follow the course, they'll find a way for you to do that. Until then, why not do whatever you can do to try to get the best time? And then I started to think, wow, that just makes a lot of sense. And then I realized something. I shouldn't be getting frustrated or throwing the game down and coming back and playing it when it's fixed. If I really want to get better, I should try to do what they're doing and see what it's about so I could have a better opinion of it. Not just watching other people, but truly trying to do it on my own. Alright, let's go and figure this one out. We're going to go walk over to my M50. Oh, and I finally got my 350R in my hangar. It was a roundabout way of doing it. I melted my Aquila. I melted my 325A to purchase the Reclaimer. My idea is Reclaimer and Carrack go together. One explores and finds, and the other one goes and looks for things. The Reclaimer is the Indiana Jones ship. That's what I'm thinking. Here's my two beautiful racers. I still can't figure out how to fly the 350 very well, so I'm staying here in the much more maneuverable and stable M50. And what we're going to do is we're going to go onto the standard race course, and we're just going to fly around and try to give you two ideas. The first run is going to be taking the course in the way I think they intended it to be flown, and then the second time through I'm going to take the course in a manner that I've seen some of the other streamers doing, like Captain Richard. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead. Here we are in the tunnel getting ready for a race. In 7 seconds and we'll be off to a good start. Now the first one of the laps is never your best because you're not fully up to speed when you hit the first. Well, you're fully up to speed. So this is the way I think they intended you to take it, which is to follow the race course. That way ships like this will have an advantage over things like the 350R. And it's flying the course in those curves which this ship is really made for. So here we go through the second gate, heading on up to gate 3. Gate 3 turns to the left and down towards gate 4. So that's what we do. And I'm not following the course per se at this point. I just know where this gate is. And then here we go through gate 4. And we head on up, following the course. And go into gate 5, I think that was, or that was 6. This is gate 7. I usually black out a little bit going through this gate. That's gate 8. And on to gate 9. So this is actually a pretty good run. No mess ups and no real major problems with it. And we had 1:25. Now for the second run, I'll probably blow up over here. I'm cutting corners. I'm coming through here, and now I do a slide and then just shoot this way. And I think I don't make it this time, because I don't really know where I'm supposed to go through here. Yeah, I did not make it. So the question I'm going to pose is differently now. Should something like this stay in the game, where it's not an exploit, you're just finding an easier path from A to B? Now some of y'all are going to say absolutely not, because it's supposed to be a structured race, like a Formula 1 race. And if those same rules were used in F1 racing, then everybody would just be cutting off the course to try to get to the next gate. But they don't go through gates inside of Formula 1 racing, they ride a track. So is that what we want here? Or do we want something that's more akin to what the better racers are doing today, which is essentially just cutting corners? I'm not sure. I think maybe one of the race modes should have that element left in it. That way people could find all sorts of shortcuts around the course to try to finish it faster. But I still think there should be one structured race, one that you have to follow a course, and you have more people flying next to each other. I tried my best on this many times to try to make this turn over here, but I think many times I just wound up crashing because I don't know exactly where to point. And in this case, I bang into the gate. So I'm very interested in what other people have to say about this. I think that in certain instances, we look at an exploit in something like World of Warcraft where you can get damage on a mob or on a boss without being able to get damage on yourself because you lead him into a different area of the, well, wherever you're fighting him. And he can't see you, but you could see him and beat on him until he dies. Those exploits are very quickly fixed in World of Warcraft, and if you partake in them, you run the risk of getting banned. But is this so bad? This is a race. I really am kind of conflicted about this one in a really, really, really big way. Because I want to applaud the people that figured this out and say, gee, you guys are amazing. I can't believe that you figured that out so quickly. In the same breath, like I said before, I believe there has to be structure so it really is the best racer against the best racer, and not the person that knows the map, right? Not the person that knows all the shortcuts. This is a pretty... I think this is one of my better ones. Yep. This is a pretty damn good argument. Because we are in alpha, so the things that we decide on now are going to carry through to the game. And this is one of those items that they want to be an esport. So with it being an esport, I think it has to be structured. So what I'm going to call out to everybody is that something like this definitely 100% needs to have two different modes, or you're going to run the risk of alienating yourself from people that want the structured race and people that like to pretty much find like a rally race. Some, not have to go and follow the course, but just get from A to B as quickly as you can. In this case, from gate 1 to 2, gate 2 to 3, gate 3 to 4, gate 4 to 5, right? So my first run through here was at 1:25, and cutting corners, I was able to shave 12 seconds off of it. Now, mind you, some of the better people I've seen are hitting 107. I think somebody's hitting 106 and 104. But the people I've got to watch and race against, 107 seems to have been the big number that they're hitting. So let's go back into the hangar and finish up this part of the discussion. Now that you see what my issue was and how I've come to terms with it, I'm really interested to find out what your opinion is. Please post below how you feel the game should progress from here. Remember, we're in alpha, so we get an idea, we have an opportunity to change or add in certain feature sets depending on what we learned in the playthrough of the game so far. So, like myself, do you feel that there should be two modes? One for people that want to cut corners and one for people that want to stay on course? Or do you think that one is better than the other and the other one that you don't like should be knocked out of contention? Whichever it might be, post it below. And this week, I'm going to pick the Hangar Flare winner from the people that post their opinion on this topic. And the Hangar Flare item won't be given for 2 weeks because this month, I'm going to focus on giving away whatever the Mystery Hangar Flare item is. And Hangar Flare is announced on the second Friday of each month. So let's move on from here. Second issue I have here to talk about today is earning UEC in-game today. Now, at first I thought we were going to be able to earn UEC that we could carry over into the persistent universe. That's since been said that that's not the case. The UEC that you earn in Arena Commander will stay in Arena Commander and will not filter out into the persistent universe. So what is this whole deal with earning UEC? Well, it's very basically this. If you win a match, if you blow up another ship, if you get hits on another ship, you're going to start earning UEC. At the end of the match, you'll be awarded whatever UEC you earned in-game. You could then go to Voyager Direct and buy equipment for your Arena Commander spacecraft and use it on your Arena Commander spacecraft only. Now, I thought this was really cool, and there's been some concerns raised by some of my viewers when I mentioned it before. Well, if somebody's already really good, and they get the opportunity to earn cash and buy better weapons, won't that only make them better? Yes, indeed it will. It will make them better. But as we earn cash and start buying the same equipment, we'll have the same equipment, the same weapons, the same targeting systems, the same cooling systems, the same shields, the same maneuvering jets, whatever it might be that they give us an opportunity to purchase, and thus we'll be able to compete on the same level we were before. This is going to be a skill-based game. So there is an opportunity in the beginning for us to be really outmatched. And that comes to the point of a matchmaking system. Now, I believe that they need to have one of these now based on the skill of the player and also based on what the player is flying and then based on the upgrades the player has on that starship. This is going to take a while to come out, so for the time being, when you jump in, if somebody has one of these ships that's been upgraded, he's just going to kill you that much faster. But when the game comes out, I believe it's going to be closer to what I'm saying. But now let's go into the persistent universe. Someone that's been playing the game for a while, hanging out in a asteroid belt as you're flying through. He's with his friends, a couple of them are new, a couple of them are old. His ship is decked out with all the finest weaponry. You're flying one of your first interstellar trade routes, and you're trying to get from A to B, carrying whatever foodstuffs and mechanical gear that you can to bring to your destination, and out jumps this guy in this super ship. It's going to happen. It's going to happen many times. This game isn't going to afford you the opportunity to say, whoa, I don't have the same equipment as him, if you turn the slider bar for PvP all the way up. If you leave it down, generally you should be not encountered as often. I don't think that you could stay away from PvP. I think what it will do is keep you from encounters at some point. But the game is going to be realistically skill-based. So we're going to have these issues that come about. So what kind of things are we going to be able to purchase? If we look at the latest stretch goals, there'll be cooling systems, engine upgrades, new weapons, and other assorted systems. And all these are being put into Arena Commander for one major reason. Arena Commander works, the persistent universe isn't here, and it's a way to start balancing weapons and systems now before the game actually goes live. And by giving us an opportunity to earn cash and spend it, it makes it fun for us. That's the way I sell it to myself. And it works. I think it works well. It's no different than War Thunder or World of Tanks, where you're earning money, in-game credits for shooting and destroying other people in your matches. And then you go and you buy upgrades for each one of your weapons, your engines, your airframe, and different things in each one of the games to make your ship or your tank or your plane the most powerful one that you could have. There's also options in World of Tanks between guns, like there are here. Certain guns are available to you for different reasons. And that's one of the things that I think are going to be very, very different here than what we're playing with right now. Yes, there are a vast number of weapons, but for most of you, you're not going to go out and spend $24, $30 on a weapon system when the game itself costs $45. This is a big deal to me. Adding in the ability to purchase weapons with cash you make in Arena Commander, I think is going to make it way more fun. And that is something that I can't wait to see. Now I want to talk about control for just one moment. I've got a major issue with the control systems in the game right now, as do many other people. There's really not supposed to be a difference between each one of the control types, but I believe there's a major difference. Here I am using my X55 HOTAS system, and the people that I'm fighting against are definitely 100% using mouse and keyboard. There should never be a much better use of a control system over another one, especially when it's keyboard and mouse over a joystick and throttle, which is the way a real spacecraft or a real airplane would work. I find it very hard to maneuver to line up targets, and I'm wondering if it's that I don't own the SATEC pedals yet. I'm using the SATEC twist, the twist on the SATEC joystick for the rudder at this point, and I have it set on a curve so I could actually move the system around without activating any kind of a yaw. But when I do try to go into yaw, it's very jerky. It's not solid or fluid, no matter which one of the different joysticks I use. Even when I hook up my CH Products Pro pedals, my Pro Throttle and CH F-16 fighter stick, I still get very jerky maneuvers in yaw. And it's very important that you're able to control your ship in order to compete. The second piece is trying to get your weapons on target is almost impossible at going at this speed with the mouse, with the joystick right now. It's so touchy, so overpowered, just moving it a little bit. I know I could play and add some, decrease my sensitivity, but right now it's just making certain ships unplayable in the game unless you play with mouse and keyboard. Very disappointed, but I have my hope that this will be fixed, especially since I went out and spent so much money on the X55. I want to feel like I'm really flying one of these spaceships as a true starfighter. I don't want to use mouse and keyboard. I'll leave that to my days in War Thunder. And that's just my opinion on this right now. So to close this out, we're going to have a big week and I'm going to be gone. The AMD Mustang should be arriving in people's hangars in some fashion over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully the non-AMD version of the Mustang Racer and the other variants of the Mustang appear sometime before or during CitizenCon. I will be gone for the next 4 days, returning home on Friday, so you probably won't see any more videos that I shoot past today. But I am putting up 3 videos today. Hopefully I scheduled the last one to come out on Wednesday like it does all the time. but you got my Reclaimer video up already. This one will be my weekly State of the Game, and then of course Star Citizen AA. For those of you that want to enter the contest for the mystery hanger flare, please just leave a comment about my question. Do you think that racing should have 1 mode, 2 modes? Just go back and listen to it again. And those who do leave me some kind of comment, I'm going to put you in for this week's drawing of the mystery hanger flare. Somebody suggested that I move the hanger flare winners to a separate video, and that's just what I'll be doing later today. So by end of day, you should have the winners to last week. Thank you all for continuing to watch, comment, and like my videos. Remember, liking the videos helps with the placement in searches, so if you do like this video, please do click the thumbs up below. So until next week, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.